Hi, my name's Nick Riccio,
I'm Ben Fletcher.
I'm Miriam.
and we read Chapter 12 of Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, and we're here to talk to you about gender equality.
Our claim is that Chapter 12 of Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep points us towards the issues of treatment of women in society, discrimination against women, and violence against women on a global scale. Both discrimination and violence against women are major problems all over the world. First, I'd like to start with a summary of the chapter. Two bounty hunters, Rick Deckard and Phil Resch, pursue the android Lubeluft to an art museum where they see two paintings by Munch. They capture her, and Rick Deckard buys her a book of Munch paintings that she requests, showing empathy towards the android. In the elevator, Phil Resch shoots Lubeluft, but she does not die. Deckard is forced to kill her to put her out of her misery. In response to this, Deckard decides to test whether Resch is an android because he shows no empathy. When he does, he finds out that Resch is not an android, he's human. In response, Deckard decides to test his empathy to see whether he feels empathy for androids. He discovers that he does, but only for female androids. The themes of this chapter are humanity. It's difficult for the characters to even determine what it means to be human or who is human. They look at the two Munch paintings and they can't figure out the humanity of the people in the paintings or the humanity or non-humanity of Lubeluft. Another theme is empathy. This is the real question of the chapter, what empathy means, whether it's appropriate to have empathy for androids, whether empathy determines humanity. These are all issues that the chapter discusses. Third is sexism, and I think you'll see as we go on and discuss two parts of this chapter how that relates to this chapter. Finally, testing is a big theme. The idea that you can use objective means to know the nature of another person and to see what their qualities are like. That's a kind of overview of Chapter 12 of Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep.
So in this quote, Rick Deckard is testing for his empathy on female androids right before he tested for men androids, which he had a low response. Rick said a female android. Now they're up to 4.0 and 6 respectively. That's high enough, Rick said. He removed the white adhesive disc from his cheek and shut off the beam of light. That's an empathic response, he said, about what a human subject shows for most questions, except for the extreme ones, such as those dealing with human builds used decoratively, the truly pathological ones. Meaning, Greg said, I'm capable of feeling empathy for at least specific certain androids, not for all of them, one or two. For Lubeluft, as an example, he said to himself. So it's wrong, there's nothing unnatural or unhuman about Phil Resch's reaction, it's me. Rick starts to question himself whether his empathy towards female android is ethically right, and this quote relates to our social problem, which is gender inequality.
Our next quote shows a very real problem with how people see women today. It deals with seeing women as sexual objects, and it shows a great contrast between Resch and Deckard. If it's love towards a woman or an android, it's sex. Wake up and face yourself, Deckard. You wanted to go to bed with a female type of android, nothing more, nothing less. I felt that way on one occasion, when I had just started bounty hunting. Don't let it get you down, you'll heal. What's happened is that you've got your orders reversed. Don't kill her, or be present when she's killed, and then feel physically attracted. Do it the other way. Rick stared at him. Go to bed with her first, and then kill her, Phil Resch said succinctly. We really like this quote because, well, first it shows a great contrast. It shows how much of foils Resch and Deckard are. Resch being the very violent, very sexual-oriented one towards women, and then Deckard being one that's open-minded towards empathy towards these female androids. And then of course it shows Resch's way of thinking towards women. It's this very uncivilized, barbaric style of seeing women as just sexual objects or just things to be used for violence, and it's disgusting, honestly. and we see it in real life all over the world.
Dataset 1 shows how women income is lower than men's income. This graph shows different regions varying in inequality because women are always making less money than men. Globally, women earn roughly half of what men do, and usually men have more chances in the world because of this graph.
Our second data set shows global violence against women. It's extremely high, and it was very surprising for me to see this, especially in the Americas, where you see a percentage of 35% of women reporting not just sexual abuse, but just abuse in general. This shows that women are treated unfairly everywhere, and I don't want to say that there's nowhere safe for women, but it just shows that women are much more likely to be assaulted and sexually assaulted than men, and this is holding us back as a society.
Our final data set is the United Nations International Gender Inequality Index. It's a large set of different types of data that are assembled in order to provide an appraisal of the status of women in different societies. Keep in mind when you look at this data that 1 is total inequality of men and women, and 0 is total equality of men and women. Thus, don't be confused by the scales of the graph and the data. I think that this data is particularly important because it measures a bunch of different things, including political representation, healthcare, economic representation, political rights, all of that. And it can help us see the ways that women are discriminated against in different areas. It's a broader type of metric than either of the first two in that it shows lots of different aspects of life and how they are impacted by inequality.
Rape and violence are very important examples of gender inequality because women are often victims of such acts. Women make less money than men, which makes it hard for a woman to provide for her family. Such discrimination is preventing us from coming together as a society.
Overall, we believe that these 3 data sets that we've shown and the 2 quotes we provided show that gender inequality is a very real, very unfortunate social action that we believe we need to take steps against as a society.
As Singer would say, all people have an ethical responsibility to take action against this discriminatory status quo.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.